Well, we want to welcome everyone to our second episode of New Homeowner 101. It's our second episode, and we want to thank you very much for listening. We know we are new to doing podcasts, and so we're a little rusty, but we appreciate you bearing with us as we try to learn this whole new world. In episode 1, we got started talking about plumbing. And that was the theme of our episode. Now, in episode 2, we're going to continue the theme of plumbing as we talk a little bit more about some of the things that we had to do to continue to repair the plumbing for our new home, some preventative maintenance that we learned along the way, and we're going to give you some practical tips on what you can do to make sure to keep your home safe and so that it doesn't have any water damage because of any plumbing issues. So what we want to start with here in episode 2 is we want to start with looking for leaks. So what's very important with your home is to make sure that there's no standing water in the home, in your home, in the home, or in the basement. Standing water obviously causes damage. It causes visible damage, but more importantly, it causes damage that's behind the wall, under the floor. Things like rot, mold, pests, all of that can be a result of water damage. So that's why this subject is so important with plumbing. So first we want to talk about how to look for leaks. Now obviously you're looking for leaks around the sink, maybe around faucets, behind the toilet. Last episode we talked about removing the toilet. Well, one thing we learned was to make sure your toilet goes back on, to make sure it's tight.
Right.
One of the things with a loose toilet, if you remember, is...
Yeah, it can leak that methane gas, yeah.
Right.
So you want to keep it tight.
So if you smell a methane gas in your bathroom, it could possibly mean one of two things. One, the toilet may be loose, and that's a simple fix. You just need to tighten the bolts to tighten your toilet down.
Yeah.
Or number 2, it could mean that your wax ring has deteriorated, or if it's a rubber ring, if it hasn't sealed properly.
Yep.
You'll smell that methane gas. But aside from the methane gas, you have the issue of water. So each time you flush a toilet, you will have water, a little bit of water seeping outside of that seal where that wax ring should be sealed tight. And so you'll start to see water around the base of your toilet. Obviously, you don't want that. Now, we're fortunate that didn't happen to us. So we made sure that the toilet was put down properly. Now, I think our biggest water leak problem happened when we installed the washer and dryer. So I'll let Natalie tell a little bit about that story, how that went down.
Yeah, that was a little traumatizing, I will say. We had Lowe's actually come and deliver it, and along with delivering it, they install it as well, because we don't know how to do that. But our space for our washer and dryer is very tiny, as you know, and so connecting like the drain line for the washing machine was really difficult for the installers, and also because it's such a tiny space too. So they felt like the line for the drain, because they had moved it so far over to the left, it wouldn't go into the little drain hole and like stay there. And so they recommended that we go get some extra drain line to connect to it, so that way it would not, as the water flowed out, not come back up and get water everywhere.
Right. And they were worried too that because it was so tight and that it wasn't quite, the drain line came out the bottom left of the washing machine, and our drain line was on the upper right. So they were worried that the line wasn't long enough.
Right.
And the young man that did the installation was worried that the thing was going to pop up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So he recommended to get some extra to connect the one that they had put in there to this other one that we bought, so it would be more of a line to go into the drainage hole.
Right.
We did that. They didn't quite have one though. We felt like that was like the same size as ours. It seemed too big, but on the packaging it said it was the right size.
Well, right, and we're not going to throw shade towards the company that made these drain lines, but they only came in 2 sizes.
Right.
What was it? I think 4 feet and 6 feet. Well, we need neither 4 feet nor 6 feet. I think we only really needed like 6 inches.
Right. We didn't need that much extra. So, and we didn't know, like, it did say that you could cut the extra pipe to the size that you needed. But, of course, us never having done that before, we were kind of nervous about doing that.
Right.
And so we just went ahead and connected what was on the washer to the new that we got. And we stuffed it down in there thinking that the further we stuffed it down the hole, the better.
That was my bright idea.
Right.
Was not good.
No, that turned out to be a bad thing. So anyways, we went to do we actually did 1 load of laundry in the wash, and we kept an eye on it, and nothing bad happened the first time.
It was fine.
But then the second time we went to do it, thinking that it would be fine. And apparently we learned from a friend that, stuffing the line down into the drainage hole too far is actually not a good thing, because of the way it drains down there. It actually pushed the water, the pressure, like it couldn't really go anywhere. And so it pushed the hose back, pushed the water back through it so hard that it popped the connection that we had, and water went everywhere. And then we couldn't everywhere. And we couldn't figure out how to get the washer to stop, because every time it would stop, it wanted to then restart again to drain the water out of the washing machine, which makes sense, but it wouldn't fully just stop. So anyways, so we learned that you don't want to push that drain line too far down to the drainage hole. You want to hear gurgling water noises. Right. That means
gurgling is good.
It's working well. And we ended up using we ended up actually moving it over a little bit further, the washer and dryer, so that it would be closer to that drainage hole. And then we also used that little plastic piece that was like a little arch that forced the drain line down into the hole.
Yeah, the installers from Lowe's did not install the plastic bend in the pipe that basically was like a hook that would then hook inside of the drain line.
Right.
So I went ahead and installed
it. So we put that in, and ever since we've done that, we haven't had any issues, thank goodness. But it's still a little traumatizing to have water go everywhere.
Right.
But it was important. We made sure to get up all the water.
Exactly.
Yeah, because some of it had gone under the refrigerator, and we wanted to make sure we got all the water, because then that could lead to problems later if we didn't.
And we'll have future episodes about mitigating water damage.
Correct.
That's an important thing that we're learning with owning a home. Mm-hmm. But so this is one of the things that you will need to do as far as making sure all of your drain lines drain properly. Especially if you're installing a new appliance like a washing machine or a dishwasher, you need to make sure that those drain lines are secure and that they are draining properly. That's where you can have water that gets out, and unfortunately a lot of times that happens when people start a washing machine or dishwasher, then they go run some errands and they come back and there's a pool of water in their kitchen. So that's something you definitely want to make sure that you have sorted before you begin to essentially trust it. I think we learned from someone that you have to learn to trust your home, but that can take time. Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to now taking care of your drain lines, we want to talk for a minute about cleaning them and about preventative measures to prevent clogging. So Natalie, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you learned and about how you have implemented some strategies here in our new little home about how to prevent clogging and how to clean in such a way to prevent clogging.
Yeah, so they're very simple things, and they don't cost much really at all. So just simply, one of the things we've been doing regularly, probably we'll end up doing it maybe once a month or 2 times every month, but is just pouring some regular baking soda down the drain, along with some just regular white vinegar down your drain, like your shower drain or sink drain. And then you're supposed to let it sit for about 15 minutes, and then you're supposed to pour hot water, very hot water, down those drains. And that is good because it's really preventative in that, when you're showering and washing and all that kind of stuff, you get a bunch of stuff that goes down the drain. So the baking soda and the vinegar, it's a safe way, and it's a very cost-effective way to keep those drain lines clean and prevent clogs.
Yeah, and it basically cleans out any of that
build up,
sediment, slime.
Yeah.
And if you want to add any red food coloring, then you actually have a nice lava, what you did in elementary school. You have a little volcano in your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink. I know, I did that in elementary school. You add the baking soda and vinegar and you have that explosion. And so I do that. I get to do that when we clean the house, and it's pretty fun. Okay, what else did you get to help prevent clogs for our drains?
I also bought, just for the shower one for right now, but I'll probably eventually like to do it for the bathroom sink as well. But it's a little mesh. You take out whatever current little bathroom stopper that you have in your bathtub drain, and then you buy, which wasn't very expensive, metal. It's got probably about a ring on it about this big, but then in the middle there's a little like mesh chain, and that catches all of the hair and all of anything else, and or if you drop something in the shower, it prevents something from going down the drain.
Yeah.
And that works really, really well, and it keeps them really clean.
Yeah. So every now and then, about every week or so, you just can clean the hair, soap scum, just out of that mesh, because that then prevents it from getting down into your drain. And I will mention this, because we even had that problem as renters. So if you're renting and you're tired of having to call the landlord every time your drains get clogged, I would recommend buying that, because then it just prevents the hair and the soap from getting down into the drain altogether. Okay, very good. Let's talk for a minute about water heaters. So we ran into an issue then when we first moved into our little home, when it came to water heaters. And Natalie, maybe you can tell us about how we discovered that problem.
Yeah, so, a lot of the stuff has been found out when we're in the middle of taking a shower. So that happened again because when I was in the middle of showering, and the water just would get cold very quickly. A lot more quick than like I had ever experienced it with renting or staying at other people's houses. And so it was very strange. While the kitchen sink water stayed really hot, the shower water did not stay hot for very long.
That's right. So in this case, this was something where we actually called a plumber who was a friend of ours to come over and help us learn a little bit about what was wrong with the water heater. Now, the water heater, when we bought the home, it was not new. But this is something for you to keep in mind if you're buying a new home or if you just moved in. Oftentimes, your inspector or, even friends and family might say, hey, you have an old water heater. You should just get a new one. But our friend who was a plumber, he checked it out for us. And he helped us to understand that the water heater itself was fine. In fact, he told us that we had 4 to 5 years left on the water heater, which I think when we first bought the house, we were thinking, okay, we're going to need to, put some money aside, replace the water heater.
Yeah.
So we were really happy to hear that the water heater was fine. But what was wrong with the water heater was the heating element and the thermostat. So that's something for you to keep in mind, is that the water heater has elements that burn out.
Right.
Now, he examined our water heater, and he and I drained it. He showed me how to drain it, which is not hard. Simply, you add a hose to screw on a hose to your water heater, its release valve, and take that hose out far away from your home and simply release the water. That's all that it takes. And then it takes about 20 minutes or so for the water to completely drain out. And even still, the water didn't completely drain out, but you get 90% of the water out. Then after that, he's able to use very simple tools to unscrew the heating element. Now, when we got the heating element out, you should have seen it. It was just, it was completely decayed. It was like looking at some of the metal on the Titanic. I mean, it was just completely rusted, falling apart. And I asked him, I said, so is this element, how old is this? Interestingly, he told me that the element wasn't that old. He said it was maybe about 6 months old. But the problem was that the seller of the home had put in one element which was the correct size, and then another element that was an incorrect size. So here's some important things to remember is when replacing the elements, make sure that you are replacing them with the correct size of the element and the correct size of the thermostat. Make sure that both thermostats, because we have an electric water heater, there is an upper section of the water heater and a lower section. Make sure that both of those thermostats are set to the exact same degree. That was another problem. The upper one was set too high and the lower one was set too low, which throws the water heater off. So obviously this may be a little bit more advanced. I had to learn it from a pro. In this case, you may want to call a pro to help you with it, but here's the thing that you want to know. You can buy the elements at Lowe's or Home Depot for about $35 versus replacing a water heater. And then just charging, a plumber just charging labor alone to replace the element for you is, again, much less than replacing an entire water heater. So those are some things to keep in mind. So water heaters, that was something that we had to overcome. Now the last tip we're going to give you in this episode is we're going to talk, because we want to do preventative maintenance, is we want to talk about hose bibs. So Natalie, what can happen with the hose bibs outside?
Well, when it gets really cold, if you live somewhere where it does get cold, especially if it gets below freezing, it can freeze the water in the pipes if you do not cover the hose bibs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So again, this is a very simple preventative maintenance thing that you can do. We bought ours at, I think, Walmart. Yeah, Walmart. I think $3.50.
Wasn't, yeah.
It wasn't.
A little styrofoam cover for the hose bib,
We didn't go all out. It's not something fancy. But that $3.50 hose bib cover can then save you thousands of dollars if that hose bib were to break, and then you've got running water, and now your water bill is going way up high, or you get water damage inside your house. Those little things will help you with preventative maintenance. Okay, so that's all we're going to cover in this podcast. In our next one, we are going to continue our discussion of plumbing, but in our next one, we're going to talk about when to call a plumber, when to call a pro, to help you to do larger replacements. We're also going to talk about how good plumbing will protect your home's value, its safety, and its long-term investment.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. So we want to thank you very much for joining us for this episode, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.